Final Resolution.
You see my title. Not changing it. Cliffhanger.
Here where it's getting very interesting.
Is it a good cliffhanger? You can say yes. Do I believe we had the perfect show? No.
A few matches did not need to be there. I'm sorry.
Shouldn't have been there. But overall, not a bad show. Not a bad TNA Plus show. With a decent cliffhanger. And a big question of what we're going to get
in January 15th.
Let's be honest here. Let's lay our cards before I even do this review. Going to AMC. That's a big deal. Getting, I think, $30 million for the next couple of years is a big thing. I'm glad to see TNA has gotten this contract with AMC. I'm not saying that. It's bad. But the big question is, are they going to end up like the other companies?
Let's be honest here.
Since WWE has gone to Netflix, what have you been getting? Not great TV. Since the renewal of AEW, and I know about Warner Brothers, I'm not saying anything right now. I want to wait until there's more information available. Because I know someone already put in my comments saying what's going to happen with AEW. I'm not saying a damn thing because I do not know what the landscape is yet. So I'm not going to speak on it. It could be weeks or maybe a month or two before you get an answer. Because I want to wait and see what information we get from the merger. Unless the government tries to stop it, even though it's already been acquired. Counting on what we're dealing with here. But as it stands, both companies, the big two, WWE, Silver Lake, AEW, you can easily say TNA is either here or here. Flat out, that's the way it is. Even though WWE recognizes them as number two, if you're going to be honest, where are they really? Are they third or are they second? You can debate it. But right now, will we get good content once they hit AMC? Don't know yet. So we got a bit to wait. But as this show was, it was okay. First thing I want to talk about is Ash. Ash is now a commentator. She said that she's now putting her hand into commentating. Let me give it like this. Do I feel like Ash could become a commentator? I know, the reason I'm watching here, I know more than a few people are going to say, dude, this is shit. She can't talk.
Neither did Velvet Sky talk very well when she was in NWA.
The same thing. Velvet, when she first started, was not good. It took her time to learn how to be a commentator. And before I stopped watching, she did pretty well as a commentator. She blended well with the people she was working with. And here it's going to be the same thing. If Ash is going to be a commentator, she's going to have to learn how to commentate. That means she's going to have to be entertaining. She's got to be hard-hitting. She's got to make either sometimes be a heel, sometimes be a face, or to be neutral. She's got to learn. That's the deal. So this is her first time doing it, and it wasn't great. It was bleh. She sounded very bland, but it's understandable. It's her first time ever doing it. So if you don't like her, it's understandable. It's her first time, but if you're going to be honest, it's going to take months for her to learn. So this is what we get. So the first match we get, Santana versus Charlie Dempsey. For me personally, again, I said this on Impact. I'm saying it here today. Don't care for the storyline. You just jobbed out Santana. 1 month of no calm. 1 month of no content. Had nothing. He comes in the first day, a live show. I saw the repeat, I didn't watch it live. And you job his ad out. You job his ass out to Kaz. And that angers me. It belittles Kaz. I don't like it. But this is what we get. Is this going to be a decent story for Santana to go through everybody in the NXT Outsiders? If this was 4 or 5 months, or 3 or 4 months after he lost the title, it would be alright. For me personally, no. It's not even a month. Not even a month since he lost that damn title. Roughly a little more than a month. Roughly somewhere around there. But the point is, it angers me that they did this to Santana. I do not agree with it. But can it become something good? Yes, as long as they book it correctly. Next. The match, I'm going like, no. This should have been on Impact. This should have been on Impact. We should never got this. Inspiration versus, oh my gosh. Guys, I've always stated, when it came to the Inspiration, they promised us, when they were released from WWE, when it was just WWE, that they promised, not on one podcast, but I've seen 4 podcasts of them, with Cass and Jess, saying they're going to be different. They're not going to use the same stick. They're going to be different. And what did they do? For 5.5, almost 6 months, after they went to going from WWE to TNA, Impact Wrestling, they legitimately did the same thing. Then they went away and became moms. Came back, it looks like they were beginning to really do something different. But then we've been getting a lot of the same iconic stuff. Now, mind you, I understand people like it. Let's make it clear. During the match, people like still the iconic stuff. I'm not against it. But you got to balance it with something new. And it's like iconic, whatever's new. And compared to what it was before, it was all iconic, nothing new. So I will give them that. But it angered me. And then you got Tessa and a little bit of Victoria Crawford. I liked them. I liked them as a tag team. Particularly, it shows about Tessa that a lot of what they said about her isn't true, because Victoria Crawford don't take no shit from nobody. She's not going to work with anybody who's racist or prejudiced. She's not. She won't do it. So we know that Tessa isn't what many people say she was. But let me say this. Making my nose and my face makes me itch. We were promised a good Knockouts Tag title match. We did not get it. We didn't get it. This match was horrendously bad. Everybody was missing their spots. The person who looked the most awkward, as I've always stated, was Jessie. I'm not against Jessie. She's a beautiful woman. But she's always been mostly awkward in the ring. And usually Cass is one who compensates for her. But you need people who can understand that from her. That she can be awkward in the ring. Victoria and Tessa did not give her any leeway there. They tried to treat her like she was just like any other wrestler. And you could say a lot about the former Alicia Fox. But she can wrestle. She's been taught to wrestle. She may not be up here. But she's easily, this is nothing. This is mid-tier. She's always been here. No matter if you like her or not. And Tessa has always been a very good wrestler. What did we get? Most of the time you couldn't even see Tessa land blows correctly. Other times Victoria was holding back on hitting her. And this is Jessie, not Cass. When Cass got into the ring, she was fine. But Jess, I don't know what was going on there. Unless she was injured, that was completely off when Jess was in the ring. Her awkward nature showed. Victoria couldn't even land proper blows on her. Tessa couldn't land proper blows on her. And in 1 or 2 instances, it was like they didn't want to even hurt her. And either she was pregnant, which I don't think she is. They wouldn't let her go in the ring. Or something was going on. If it wasn't the chemistry, I don't know what it was. This match was trash. And then Ash was trying to sell most of the match, trying to say, I am not involved with Elegance Brand. Even though they're in the back, they don't know I'm here. And then they came out and attacked. And who were the ones who were on top? Inspiration managed to beat them. And I'm like, what is going on here? This storyline, this match made no sense. If you're going to do anything, it would have been better for Victoria and Tessa to win the titles. In actuality, they've been more entertaining, and it would be better to see two heels win the tag titles than the same faces right now, and it would give them something to do when AMC was going to roll around. They would try to get revenge, try to get the titles back. We didn't get that. They kept the titles, which didn't make any sense. The match was horrendous. It didn't make any sense. Then when the Elegance Brand came out, it looked awkward. It didn't make any sense that you let the Inspiration be on top. You could have left a cliffhanger that the Inspiration got their butts kicked by Elegance Brand, but it didn't happen because they managed to beat them. They beat two teams. I'm just saying, I'm moving on. Next match, Warner versus Matt Cardona, the street fight that felt more like a hardcore match. And you got Steph Delander interjecting himself most of the match. This is where I really, 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 really wished that you really had Chelsea Green there. Because I felt it would have been better to see Chelsea Green there. She couldn't stay long. At least she would just do an appearance. But since she's on the main roster, they're not going to show her. And yes, she is in NXT on and off. But she's been mostly main roster. And she's working AAA on and off as the mixed tag champ. And I'm like, I really wish she was there. In the end, Matt won. Was it a bad street fight? No. It was an okay street fight. But I still wish Chelsea Green was there to deal with Steph Delander. That's just me, you guys. Send me below. I don't know. This is just me. The next match was Stacks I think Stacks murdering Macklin would be the best way to do it. And let's make it clear. Was it a good match? Yes. It was not bad. You got Lexus King there as a handler. Used for everybody for the outsiders, it looked like, because his charisma. Makes sense. When you see Stacks grab Zach Kane and whacks him in the head, you think he murdered him because he just went boom. Done. And now Stacks is the international champion. And this goes with the end of the show, what happened with Santino, which I'll talk about in a minute. But Stacks being the international champion does make some sense because seeing that they are in this collaboration, it would make sense to give this title, which is the lowest tier. This is the lowest tier title. Not the X Division title and not the World title. It's the lowest tier title. Fine. I'm okay with it. But how are they going to book it? Don't know yet. Moving on. The Knockouts title match. Ling Yang Lee versus Xia Brookside. Let me make this very clear. I don't mind a face going against a face once in a while. It's not bad. Counting if you booked each one of them separately to feel important. I'm not against Yin Yang Lee. I'm not. I actually like her. Not against Xia Brookside. I like her. But you didn't build either one of these women up. You didn't. You didn't make them feel important. You didn't give them vid packs ahead of time. And if they were on YouTube, I haven't had time to look at them. But on the show, you didn't give us enough. You gave us one segment, roughly speaking, for Ling Yang Lee talking about her build, which is fine. But Xia Brookside, no. And again, when you look at the match itself, what could have happened that was different? What could have happened that was different? Legitimately, you could have done Danny Luna being the one to go up against Ling Yang Lee, and you could have still gave us the same thing as you gave us on Impact. You could have let Danny Luna go up against Ling Nang Lee. She's trying to use the chain. You get Indy Hartwell interfering. She loses the match. And then an explosion happens where Indy is cheering and talking with Ling Yang Lee. And then she gets blindsided. And they got to bring out a buttload of security to keep these two separate. Not just outside the ring, but in the back. You can actually show them fighting their asses off like crazy in the back. And then you can make it mean even more. Here, yes, it was a feel-good moment. For me personally, it's not the match quality. The match quality was okay. It was. Seeing their interaction between each other where they did not want to really hurt one another was fine. Showing a lot of respect was fine. And the interview was fine. But once you see Danny Luna come out, it feels like it shouldn't be there. Danny should have been in that match. Indy should have stopped her. Then you would have this huge fight that could have spilled from the ring to the outside of the ring to the back and could have still kept the blood feud going. And I really believe that would have been better. It's just me. Guys, tell me below. Order 4 versus the Rascals. Good match. It was good. The person that was the beast of the entire match was Agent Zero. I'm sorry. You don't like Agent Zero? I get it. You don't like a big guy.
Dude, he destroyed the Rascals.
He was the one who destroyed the Rascals. Yes, the Rascals. The Rascals. Let's make this very clear. When you see Elias or Elijah come out and I do believe I got a shot of him on a horse, and you see Ali's legs get tied up and he's dragged out, and you can see Elijah has never ridden a horse. You got a guy who's holding on to the horse, making sure that they kept in step so he wouldn't lose control of it, and you see a Mustafa Ali getting dragged away outside with the rope around his ankles. Something you don't usually see anymore. It was funny. The Rascals winning, I'm not surprised. I'm not. They're really popular. That's fine. They all go well in the ring. They're very popular. The match itself was very good. When you see that flame on from Myron Reed, and I don't know if I got the shot, when I believe he grabbed Ali and jumped over the top turnrope, does his flame on, and both of them land to the ground, someone could have been badly hurt. But it all went well, generally speaking. Match was fine. That was all right. The horse dragging away Ali with Elijah on it. All right. All right. The tag titles. This is another match I truly believe could have been on Impact. Not taking anything from the Hardys and Skyrise, sorry. But honestly, I'd rather seen this on Impact. You could have shortened the show, just like when it came to Inspiration versus Tessa and Victoria Crawford. That match should have been on Impact. This match should have been Impact. And the guys would have had a better match than the ladies. Flat out, that's the truth. I'm not surprised. I'm not. The match that was surprisingly good was Leon Slater and AJ Francis. That was a good exhibition match. One small guy, one big guy. You see Rich Swann finally deciding he's sick and tired of Sky. See it like this. He's sky high in first class, but then he's been brought down. He can't even do money no more. And he got sick of it, and he screwed over AJ Francis. And I believe it was BOE showed up as well. Helped out a little bit too, in some form. And Leon Slater retains. No problem. Leon should not be jobbing. And tomorrow, he's going to be an Iron Survivor. It makes it even more good for him. But it's just me. I'm just saying. And I want to say this about AJ. Not everyone likes AJ Francis. They think he's mostly trash. I've always stated, and I will keep saying it, he's a good wrestler. It's just that certain things he needs to understand. Like Tennessee Whiskey, I wish he would just retire it for a year and then come back to it. That's just me. He's great talking in the ring, and he's a decently good big guy in the ring as he's throwing people around. Does he do all the great moves? No, he doesn't have to. Remember, Diesel was a good wrestler, but he wasn't a great one. Let me give it to you like this. A-Train was a good wrestler, but he had very little character. You don't always get the best of everything. You don't get the Kanes, and you don't get the Undertakers that often. And AJ Francis just isn't one of them. So it's okay. Final match. Frankie Kazarian versus a Johnny Curtis for the... Let me just cut to the chase. We knew what was going to happen. We knew Johnny Curtis was not going to win. I did not see Johnny Curtis winning here. Now, did he cut a great promo before the match started? Yes, he did. Not everyone's going to like it because they're going to think he's fake crying, going like this. Like he's fake crying. But that at least shows that he's willing to go there. Not everyone does that. Not everyone. And he sounded very genuine, even though, yeah, it's still a work. And kind of a shoot, because that was a bit emotion. He's only a month away. And whether you like Johnny Curtis or not, I actually like Fandango. I like Johnny Curtis. I liked him as Dirty Dango. He was a good comedic wrestler. But knowing that this was a match that legitimately we're seeing Johnny Curtis, not Breezango's Johnny Curtis, or Dirty Dango Johnny Curtis, this is Johnny Curtis. He didn't play around a lot. He was serious. He wanted to make this clear that this was important to him. And I felt that was something I really did like. I did like this. But in the end, he got cheated. One ref nailed, and I didn't forget about the ref in the X Division. I know I could said, dude, why didn't you mention about the ref when it was Leon Slater and AJ Francis? Yes, the ref who also appeared here. She turned a blind eye to let AJ Francis get nailed. She didn't do that when the first ref got nailed. She came in, did the clean work, and with a pass out by Johnny Curtis, which didn't make him look like a bitch, he won. And I gotta say this. They at least protected him to make sure he did not have to look bad. Because I do think they still have time before Genesis to at least let him look good before his final match. That's what I think is what's going on here. When it comes to Johnny Curtis, JDC, when he comes on the AMC on the 15th, because he's going to be there. I know he's going to be there. He will be there. They just want to make him look good before his final match at Genesis. And that's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. For me personally, once you see the fight afterward, and Santino getting in the ring, trying to break it up, Stacks decks his future father-in-law, instead of saying his father-in-law, his future father-in-law, you know now, this is now going to be about Stacks and Santino Marella and that international championship. By Genesis, we are going to see some possible match between possibly Stacks, Santino, and a Ariana Grace who's going to have to make a decision between the man she's in love with and her daddy. That's what the cliffhanger is for me personally, and the mixing of NXT into it. But I believe this is the more important story. Was this a good Impact Plus show? Well, pay-per-view actually, not Impact Plus. It was good. Final Resolution was not bad. 2 matches I would have gotten rid of. Because one felt like it should be an Impact show, and the other one was so bad it needed to be on Impact. But in the end, this was a good show with some good feeling to it. But this is just me. Peace.